Okay, that should be good. Okay, so look at this guy. What's that in my volume at? 70%. Okay. So one last test here. Well, one last required test. We need an existing tag. Private read only. Oh, well, that is the existing tag. Private read only. Hey, Canny, how you doing? New tag equals new tag. So tag and new tag. It is Friday, thank goodness. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Looking forward to the weekend though. With yourself. Well, celebrating it's Friday. I assume you're looking forward to the weekend too. Congratulations on V2 of Twitch, huh? I hope that's going well. There's a massive accomplishment. I can see once people start to realize that's available to them, a lot of cool things will happen for streams. Only one bug. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm expecting here is new tags are added, existing tags are not duplicated. Pull request image. No. Did I miss? Did I miss something? Oof. Yeah. It's a good one. I hope you went through the correct review and had people review it before you merged it. Typos, no tests. Sad thing is, I've seen bigger this week, and 4 or 5 of them. Luckily, I've not been the one to review yet, but yeah. Yeah, so what we're expecting is label repository received to add async, and tag repository dot received add async 1 and 1, and that tag repository did not receive add async of the tag for the label that exists. Rambling Geek, good afternoon. Hope you are well. So what I'm trying to test, right? It's like, sorry. So on Monday's stream, we got the ability to add the tags to the user so that when you start with, when you go into your profile, you can say, I do C#, I do, .NET, and we validated that we didn't duplicate tags. So if we said C# twice, we only got C# as a label once. Yes, we associated the tag twice right now. So what we're validating now is that we can add the tag twice. So even if we repeat it multiple times, we're only going to have that set so that when you come back to the screen, you're just going to have C#. So you can add it as many times as you want. I think what we're going to do is remove the ability to put spaces and limit the character size on these things as well. But we'll figure that one out after the fact. But the goal very much now is to get these tags working, and then we can play around with the UI a little bit today, I think. We just need them to load and save. So we're expecting to add, so we're going, what I'm validating here is I have a tag existing for 1, and we want to add this new tag, right? So private read only int new label ID equals 25.10, right? I'm not being very clever about those numbers right this second. I should align them differently. So we need to do label repository dot when no, it's add async, right? How do I capture this? That's so we can return that, but we need to add this and control this ID. So that we can, basically what I'm trying to validate is that I add the label for the right thing. So dot so hold on, let me do that for labels. Labels is an actual label, and then we go through the labels and add the label ID. So yeah, okay. So when r goes to r dot add async, r dot is label goes to l dot text. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to manipulate the ID so that the ID that's attached is in my control. Do I goes to I dot arg label, the ID equals new label ID. Right. So I'm just setting the value. I'm just manipulating the reference of that object to set the ID to the new label ID so that when I go to insert it, I can now validate over here that I received an add on the label of arg dot is label and well, yeah. I don't need to validate the value of the ID because the ID is going to come in the next part right here. So arg dot is tag. T goes to T dot streamer ID equals streamer ID and T dot label ID equals new label ID, right? And what we're validating is we do not try and add the existing tag back in, right? We've already validated duplicate labels, and that's going to be existing label ID, right? So we want to run this test and see what that looks like. Okay, expected to receive 1 call, no calls matching. expected to receive one call matching. So let's validate that scenario. Let's validate that. So I know. Run the other tests to validate that I haven't broken anything since. So it says existing tags are not duplicated. Expected to receive no calls matching add async. Actually received one matching call. Expected to receive that one call matching new tags are added. So we received a call for this one and we did not. Yeah, we expected to receive a new label and a new tag. Let's break this out. New label is added. I know it's increasing the number of tests, but that new tag is associated, yeah. Let's run that now and it'll give us a bit more granularity. So none of it existed. None of it changed. Expected to receive exactly one call matching. Actually received no matching calls. Expected to receive one call matching. So let's just validate the test data. So I have a label repository that I've set up for returning the existing tag. Also returning the existing tag properly. And then I go and add 2 new tags for that streamer. So yeah. Okay. Let's go step through this scenario. That's what I thought, Luke. So we should get one existing label, right? That's one existing label, and that tag should be tag 6501. Yeah, that was right. So we determine that we should add one label, and that's new tag, and it has no ID yet, right? So if there's labels to add, we add the labels. Ah, that's why. Calling it add range. This part's never. Add range async. Right, is label array. L dot all a L goes to L dot text equals new tag. I don't think that's going to work, but hey, maybe. How's it going? You've not been there before. Nice. Did you have the interview yet? Are you still waiting on that one? Doing good. Doing good. It's Friday. Maybe he's developing a fitness app, fitness tracking app called Barely Fit, which looks amazing, and is developing that on stream. So if you're enjoying this, or not enjoying this, go over there and have a look. 45 minutes. Nice. I'm sure you'll do well in that. So happy I rebuilt the database layer. Everything runs so much smoother now. Yeah, sometimes just taking that that moment to just rip things out and do the right thing for the bit. I've done it a few times with Liquid Sky where I pulled out. I was using Couchbase and I hit some issues um, where it was not, it just wasn't fun to work with. Couchbase itself is a great product, but um, I was limited by my understanding of it, and the technology was holding me back from progressing. So I pulled it out and replaced it with SQL, and it only took me 2 or 3 hours to replace an entire NoSQL database for a SQL database. But afterwards, it was moving along much faster. Um, you have to be willing to do that for the good of the application. Someone else's library, it was an abomination. Plus, they insisted on converting everything to bespoke objects. So large data sets would be looped over 3 or 4 times before oof. Yeah. Like, I get the entity framework in .NET does a lot of stuff. Like, if you are using tracking, then it creates proxy objects around all the data and gives you you get the object back, but it's really tracking changes to it so it knows if it should save something, etc. So it comes with overhead, but yeah, you don't want to keep iterating over that set. Let's see if this changes that behavior. I don't think it will do. No. So what is this going to be? I want to test that. I think ORM should stay on backend when you can take the cost of performance most of the time, but mobile should be query builders at least. Best. Sorry, at best. Yeah, yeah. Mobile behavior is definitely a whole different ball of wax to me. Okay, so what I'm trying to test here. Do you even get there? Ooh, no. So I can't debug inside of that. Oh, but it's not doing that, is it? Are you winning today? I don't know. I guess we'll see. So let's see. The app should run, I think. So what I'm trying to do, um, very recently, I have mentally struggled with, um, and I've had to do it a lot recently, which is kind of strange. This concept of, um, does it exist? Should it be there, etc. Um, kind of comparing lists and doing that. So I've mentally struggled um, with how to attack that. So I'm writing unit tests to make sure that I'm validating the scenarios. In this case, so I don't keep duplicating text. um, I hold label and tag as separate things. So you can add tags to yourself like C#, .NET, etc. But the actual label text itself isn't duplicated. So it will use an existing label if that's available. So the idea is these, right? So what I'm trying to cut down on is these potentials for duplication. Um, let's go over here. Let's go over here. Start that. So I have this. Let's start the app up. Let's log in and go to Twitch. Yeah. Okay, we're logged in now. So yeah, I have the tags. We go into profile here. So if I add C# now, I don't want to duplicate the label, right? This label will exist and I will be associated with it, right? But if I'm already associated with that label, obviously I'm not loading them yet. If I'm already associated with that label, I don't want to recreate the association. So yeah, and we've got to do something about this control, because if I hit enter, it'll commit AMA, right? So yeah, So we got to figure that out. Yeah, so I'm writing the unit test, but then I realized that the method I've chosen for adding that range is a little bit harder to mock. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to control the IDs. So when I say, hey, add these, then yeah, let's say enumerable of label. I want to see if I can actually hit that breakpoint. Is it just I'm not matching the thing? Ah, there we go. Okay. So, where are you? Where are you? Immediate window, where are you? There you are. Okay. I.arg label. There you go. So what I need to do is loop through that and change the value, but you can't change the value. If I do label, what does it give me? Nothing. Okay, so that'll throw an exception. Hey, George. Thank you for the resub. I hate auto-generated mappers. Oh, what's irking you today? Thank you for 16 months, George. Don't get to see you much these days, but appreciate the support. Auto-generated mappers. Yeah. Well, don't worry. Soon I'm probably going to start some evening streams as well, which will be past your bedtime as well. Sadly, I cannot work. I cannot do streams in the afternoons. I think actually that would be my preferred time to do it, like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we need to get this and Liquid Sky off the ground, and then profit from Liquid Sky will pay for me to just sit here and code all day. That's the plan, right? It works that way, right? Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to manipulate the arguments. Equals new label ID. There you go. Okay, having issues with the people who wrote this service earlier. For some reason, they didn't allow null values in the Open API generator, which made them not use the date format. This way, it generates a string instead of oh. I know someone else who was struggling with strings and dates yesterday, and conversions. You handle an empty string, yeah. Hi Enzo, how you doing? The best exclusives only PlayStation. It's the dream. Okay, let's run these unit tests again. Let's see what the behavior looks like now. Ah, cannot find an argument of type enumerable. Boo. You just let me do that though. Oh. But I'm going to enable optional in the Open API generator. Suddenly a lot of things are optional because they wrote the spec whilst drunk, I guess. I'll be honest, I've never used the Open API generator. Hey, we got a new tag. We didn't, however. Existing tags are not duplicated. We expected to receive no, and we got one. And the new label is added. It's to receive exactly one call. Well, that's because new label, add range async. label a dot all L goes to L dot test. I bet that test will pass now. There you go. So new label is added and new tag is associated, but existing tags are not duplicated. So now so what I've done there is I've just validated that the test is testing what I expect it to do and that the behavior matches. Again, I'm not I'm using my knowledge of the code to understand what the test is doing, and I'm only moving back to the code once I'm confident the test is actually representing the state I know the code is capable of being in. So now the test is giving me the answer I'm actually expecting. I know that the thing I'm about to change is the problem, rather than just trying to guess and bundle my way through and change. Like the whole, you shouldn't change the test. You should change the test or the code, but not both, is very valid for a reason, right? At this point, being that I have failing tests, I should not be changing the code. It's kind of okay if people write a proper spec. Issue right now is that they auto-generate mappers as well, and they are hard to generate, so they handle optionals. So I'm just rewriting all the mappers so they're under my control. Gotcha. I know mappers are a necessary, not necessarily evil as such, but they are a necessary component. But I try to avoid mapping objects as much as I can. Sully, good morning. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Welcome back. So what I'm trying to avoid now is, so we check for existing labels. We validated that we're not going to duplicate the label, even though we're adding a new label as well, but we are going to duplicate the tag. So we need to validate, we need to prevent that. Same, but the company architecture. Yep. Yep, I get it. Okay, so I don't necessarily want to query tags for streamer by ID. Streamer by identifier with detail spec gives me the streamer with all their associated tags. So tags to associate is, now this again is going to require a kind of quirky data setup, which I'm not entirely sure is a good plan here. But in my test, let's go about it. Return streamer. So streamer by identify with detail spec. Let's do this. Let's make sure tags is new tag. So I've got the tag repository, right? Do I even call that method? Let's validate that in a second. No, I don't call that one. So I've put a call in there, right? To this. We don't call that. We never call that. Right? Because what that was doing is giving the tags for streamer by spec. That's a different thing entirely. I'm going streamer by identifier with details spec. So I'm adding in channels, platform, tags, etc. for that user. Date tags. So now we're going to get a list of tags back. So var tags to add equals streamer.tags. So we're going to make the assumption where, no, it's labels dot where L goes to streamer tags dot all. T goes to T dot not equal to L dot ID. Right. So that's going to give us our yeah. And there we go. That should do that. No. So we're just going to filter out the streamer, the labels where we already have a label associated for this tag. There we go. Okay. I'm confident that that's going to work. So let's start this up. Once this mechanism's in there, we've just got a few decisions to make about things like the login or the sign up. Should we provide the sign up form? Should I just add YouTube as a sign in method and tie that in so that you can sign in with YouTube or Twitch, but you don't, that's how you sign in. And then you can link your accounts separately. Right now you sign in with Twitch and then you have to link Twitch to say, yeah, that I'm the streamer on that channel. Which is a little bit backward, but we can tidy that up later. This version will never work because it's in kind of a private browser and I don't know how to turn that off. I've still got to figure that part out. So let's start up Aspire. If you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on this, if you're new to the stream, please feel free to join in the conversation. You're more than welcome to ask. The stream is not about me getting code done. It's about me being able to share the journey of doing it, right? But we are very close to getting this into a place where I'm happy to say, yeah, here's the code, take PR, do PRs, etc., put issues in, etc., and then we can move it forward. So we have these. I'm going to remove the duplicates before we even start, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the tags out. And I'm going to delete the duplicate C# label there. Right. 1, 3, 4, 5. No tags. So there's no tags there now. We go to that profile. Let's add C#. Oh, we got to improve that control as well. .NET AMA. Okay, so we're gonna update that. We go back here. We should now have C#.NET AMA. Go back here. Obviously, it's not loading yet. That's the next piece. Let's add AMA again and update that. Not have a duplicate AMA. We only have the 3 tags. We do not duplicate AMA. So we added AMA. We did not duplicate the AMA tag label. We did not duplicate the AMA tag there. So let's just go back once more and validate that. Profile, C#, AMA, AMS, .NET. Let's add a new one. Kafka. Update that. So now we should have 4 tags showing on the user, on the stream. C#.NET AMA Kafka. We should have only 4 labels still and 4 tags. There we go. I'd say that's working okay for right this second. Any thoughts on that one? So let's get that committed. Don't duplicate tags when updating. Okay. There's not much to say. I'm not messing around with a complicated message there. So right now, if I'm starting from scratch here, and I'm genuinely interested in any opinions people have, the purpose of this site, if you haven't seen this before, is to try and help promote developers who stream. The idea is that you as a streamer will come to the site, you'll register, either linking your Twitch account or whatever, or signing in with your Twitch account or YouTube account, etc. You then link your streams. So right now we only support one of each, because that's a little bit difficult to juggle. But you can link your Twitch, you can link your YouTube. Those are the two that we've got in there right this second. That way, we know you have an actual channel, and now your stream will appear on the front page. Do I keep opening these, by the way? No. Okay. So the fact that you've got an active channel means that it will appear here. Obviously, I've linked these extra ones to make sure that there's data to represent, but now it'll show the icons for the streams that you have channels for. It won't show on here if you don't link a stream. So this is the actual your streamer name, whatever, because again, I have a different name on define active channel. Active channel is you have linked a channel to your streamer here. So I've gone and I've clicked link Twitch, link YouTube, which calls out, validates that they are there, and then stores the channel name. So if I look at channels, there you go. Now these I've added manually for test data, but these I've actually gone through and verified. So it uses a code flow to auth that. So you have linked a channel that you have access to your account. Therefore, you will show. You can't just. I didn't want it so you could just go and say, oh yeah, I stream on this channel, because then it's rife for people saying, corrupting it, right? Or yeah. So you have to verify. Yeah. I failed to put glasses on my face. The arm folded at the last second. Yeah, that's active channel. So you can sign up. Anyone can sign up. However, if you don't link your Twitch or YouTube, whatever, you won't show on there. I do feel that there's probably going to be some sort of moderation required. I think there's going to have to be some sort of roles defined for moderation, so that people can go in and clean stuff up. But yeah. But yeah, this links out to my YouTube. This links out to my Twitch. Right. Oh, don't like hearing myself speak. But you see there, Terry BD on YouTube is, or TBD develops there, but TBD Gamer on Twitch, TBD Gamer, right? That's the stream name. So, makes sense. If I open that, so one of the things I'm questioning right this second is, should we even support 19? This is 2560 by 1440. Hopefully it's readable enough. It's scaled down to 1080p on Twitch, but yeah. I've found a balance over the years. So I actually code like this. I don't change anything for off stream anymore. I found that I'm very comfortable. 800 by 600. No, no. Uh, it is not 800 by 600. Um, yeah. I've just found a balance that works for me, so that I don't have to change anything when I get off stream. I have two monitors, but I only use this monitor for coding. Even if I've got like 3 instances of Rider and yeah. Um, I mean, you could create different sources in OBS and then just switch between them with a Stream Deck or something. You say, oh, well, let's go to this screen. Let's go to that screen. You could actually create those as different sources in OBS and then switch them. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Okay. So you want chat to be able to say, oh, I want to see this code. I want to see this. Right, okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure I want to leave this in here. I'm thinking removing this is probably a cleaner, or maybe a nice movie. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to watch the stream. I want to watch a movie streaming on the same channel. I have a 43-inch 4K telly that I use as a monitor, but I use fancy zones to snap VS into various positions to get fixed sizes. Yeah. I have a 43-inch 4K monitor, but it's set with a PlayStation on it. So um, yeah, my gaming PC is 2560. No, it's what is it? 2560 by 1080. Yeah. I found a massive spider, by the way. Uh, sorry, maybe my channel is yeah, censorship. Like I have one just one just left to center vertically, but I also have 1920 by 1080 zones defining each of the corners and can have 4 regular-sized VS windows open all side by side. Nice. Yeah, I don't know if I could work that way these days. Like these are 32-inch 2560 by 1440 regular like format, and then an ultra wide 3440 by 1440 to my right here. And I barely use this monitor unless I'm watching YouTube or Twitch while I'm working. Yeah. What the hell? I'm gonna die. Oof. Try moving to countries where things can actually kill you. And then finding out you're not quite as safe as you thought you were, even in New Jersey. 27-inch monitor by the side of it in portrait mode, which is good for web pages, but mostly I have browsers open on that in the top half or in thirds. Okay, I'm gonna get ready for interview. Have a nice, maybe have fun. I'm sure you'll do great. And catch you later. So, do we want to remove this? Is the question. I don't think I need to panic about it now, but it is something that I do want to consider. But we have tags working, so let's get the tags working. Let's get them. Yeah, I just closed all my browser. Okay. Let's get them displaying as well as yeah, I thought I did this last stream, but maybe I did not. So in the web, in the components, sorry, we have layout, streamer cards, streamer card has streamer card, and then in here we have the tags. But apparently, oh, that's okay. So we do have the tags available to us. We're just not loading them into the profile screen. Okay, that's a whole different ball of wax, isn't it? Account, pages, profile. So that is just, we are not input tags. So we need to set tags. Input dot tags equals streamer profile tags. Plus you won't work. Why would you work? That would be daft. Really? That's, oh yeah. New list. Can I do that yet? Yes, I can. Okay. So excessive to have to write list. So I think the next phase of this, once we've got the ability to add the streamers in there, we'll just clean up the UI and get that working. Am I missing anything at this second? In terms of data, am I missing anything that will be useful? So again, the concept would be that you sign up, you set, hey, this is something about me. Here's the things that you might associate with me. We probably do want to put a cap on the size of those things. What's a reasonable amount? Like, because Twitch, I've got like backseating welcome, software development, .NET technology, questions welcome. Do we want to allow spaces? Do we want to say like 30 characters, 50 characters? What, any opinions on what seems reasonable there? Why is this not opening anything? There we go. So when we open that, go to profile. Oh no. Not totally surprising, being that I didn't do anything to validate that it was going to do that. So, fetch profile, go to implementation, streamer profile service, tags, streamer profile. Actually, that's meant to work, isn't it? Profile, result. Oh no. Object reference. Why? Oh, hold on. Streamer profile. String. For that stream profile query is selecting the tags string. That's pulling the same. That's pulling the same query as before. Results. In terms of setup, does this make sense? In terms of like, okay, we're going to have a profile, it's going to have a name, it's going to have the tags associated with us. I mean, I know that that's exactly what we set up on Twitch. I think the hint there would be we'd be putting less AMA, well, AMA maybe, but we might be putting less like um personality stuff and more how you want to be found, like language wise, etc. Because there's quite a mix of tags in Twitch. I mean, it's probably doesn't matter, does it? It shouldn't matter at all. Okay, is that going to crash? No. Result tags. Okay. Why are you crashing? Oh, I think it's. Is it really doing that? Oh, because I select. And it's a new object. It should enumerate. As enumerable. Sorry. Let's try that once more. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, now we're gonna get connection error now because we're trying to load two setups at the same time. Oh no. Oh wow, we managed to go through that. Okay, profile. Here we go. So F10, 10, 10, result. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Is it maintaining the... Why isn't that enumerating? It knows there's four. Or is it just because... Hold on, is it just because I'm trying to access it and it's actually gonna work? Nope. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. I'm selecting it out. It's not like there's a context lying around. No tracking. So I'm not attaching it, I'm not leaving it attached to entity framework. I'm including the tags. We go here, we select the label text. I mean, let's do this. I said before I don't like mapping, and then I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'm mapping twice in quick succession. That's ridiculous. I'm trying to translate from one layer to another layer. This is yes. This is the application layer querying the data back. The profile object here. This is a who owns what sort of question. This could probably be condensed later. But I don't want to return this model down to the client because this is also going to go via an API. So this is a kind of common model that then gets handled on in different ways. So yeah, it's a thing. Come on, why are you so slow? Okay, so this is the query level. Enumerable list selector iterator. No reference exception. Interesting. So the tags came back fine. Interesting. Ah, that's why. It's erroring here. It's finally enumerating it, and it's erroring there because that reference isn't intact. So include s tags, then include s goes to s dot t goes to t dot label. Right. I need to include because I'm not using lazy loading proxies. I need to include the things. I wish it would let me get away with that because that's really what's happening. Oh, is it letting me get away with that? No, it's not letting me get away with that. So that's actually crashing when it tries to resolve the dot text of the label because the label's null. That's the object reference. I did the same thing on platform as well, so I should have known that one. Wait, half an hour for. Do, 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 do. Okay, let's refresh that. There you go. There's our existing tags. Why does it look so horrible there? Why does the style of them change? Profile. Oh, there you go. Okay, so we do have existing tags. Is it the nicest thing in the world? No. Let's go and see if we can make some changes to that. I want to be able to add additional tags. Not streamer cards, profile. How do I dynamic tag? Did I created a component, didn't I? Yes, I did. Get me being all like aware of breaking down the code. Handle input confirm. How do I capture on press enter? Oh, it is meant to do that. So what I wanted to have happen is you do this and you say, what else can I do? Rider. But I think that actually ends up saving that. So, but that won't save that, right? That will, however, save that. Ooh, that did not save that. Why did that not remove that? Do we have a bug? We have a bug. Why does refresh make that look weird? What? Why do you behave one way when it... Okay. These things apart from the remove, right? The remove is a concern. So that's something we need to fix. Okay, so get stream profile. Actually, we can revert that essentially, because all that does is move that to result, and I don't want a result variable when I don't need one. Include label on tag to provide query push. If you are interested in checking this code out, you're more than welcome to. This is all pushed to developers. Do I have it? Oh, look at that. It's all pushed there. It's under the feature / initial build, so you can go and pull it and check it out. There's no problem with doing that. No guarantees on whether it makes sense to set up or whatever, but you are able to go check this out. Let's go back and add that unit test. I know we talked about unit tests on Monday, but these tests have actually ended up being pretty useful when tag is no longer associated. Now, I'm not going to remove the label, right? Right. So I'm going to say label is not removed. Actually, no, we're not even going to have a delete label, so there's no point in expressing that test. But we want to assert that the tag repository dot received remove delete async arg dot is tag t goes to t dot label id equals remove label ID. Okay, so that's what we want to set up. So let's get to that point. So again, I'm not going to recreate all this by hand. I'm going to save some time. We're going to remove these. We're going to have those make sense in a second. Let's take this as is. We'll review what we need about it in a second. Paste that in there, and then we're going to have this is going to happen, but we're now going to return no tags. Right? We're going to say we're wiping it out. So we need a remove label ID, private read only. That's good. Okay. We're not going to add any labels, so we don't need to capture that. And we are not going to yeah, tag. So existing label ID is associated with tag. Existing tag ID, existing label ID, right? So we want to remove, we want to verify that we're going to remove that tag. And when we pass in nothing, so what actually happens? Well, we know we don't remove it, right? So let's now go and deal with that. So tags to add is easy because we have our existing tags. The tags to remove is streamer.tags.where L goes to L dot, well, L goes to labels dot all, L goes to L dot, well, no, this is not right. Yeah, actually it is correct. Yeah, L dot ID not equal to that's T in this case. T dot ID. So we just flip the logic where we flip it where we're looking for any of the existing tags where there is no label incoming. And then tags to remove for each of our tags to remove. Now that won't manipulate this in any way, shape, or form. So it's not like this is then going to go and re-add them. This just removes anything that we are not dealing with. Await tag repository dot delete async. Right. So this should all still pass. There you go. Let's commit that. Removing a tag. Not. It does mean that if we, for some reason, don't pass the labels from the client, then you could wipe out all the tags. But that's a different problem, right? That's a user. Well, that's a front end defect, not a back end one. When not passed, when label is not passed, then the tag should be removed. It's that one that is provide insurance profile. No. Yeah. Technically, they are labels, right? They are tags by associating a label with your streamer. At that point, they are labels, but I did use the wrong word there. So what I'm going to do now is this code is getting kind of messy. We're just going to do a bit of a refactor of this. Remove tags for unused labels. Add new. Right. So our code should still function. Right. I don't know why Rider does this. I really don't like having the cancellation token at the beginning. I think it really makes sense at the end. I'll have to see if there's a way of setting that. Yeah. Well, one option I have is actually to let Rider infer the style and then apply it as a editor config. That will allow some consistency. I do feel that might end up. Oh no, you shouldn't be null. You should not be null. It's a lie to say that's null. And also that order. I want to move that around as well. Streamer. I want. Ah. The consistency there between the two method calls will aid in that. Now, because at this point, if we're updating this, the streamer can't be null. So I'm going to make sure it can't be null, right? If that's null there, then the entire thing is borked and it should explode, right? That's fine by me. Basically, what is this doing? This is kind of breaking one of those lovely rules because it's kind of doing something and returning something. Labels. Okay, fetch labels to associate. See, put the cancellation token in the right order there. So we should still have tests that pass. There we go. So we've not broken anything, but now we've got a little bit cleaner code. Fetch labels to associate. Get the streamer. Remove any we don't use. And add new tags. We don't need to be explicit. I don't need to do it in there. Now we could change this over to a result pattern, where we return, if the streamer is null for whatever reason, return unable, etc. But right now, I'm going to leave that in there. We can always debate that later as we go through this process, because it's, to me, that's a failure case. I don't really care about handling that nicely and being friendly about it, because if that's broken, the system's broken. So why shouldn't it throw an exception? Refactor, update tags, handler to increase readability. Again, if you're new to the stream, if you have any questions about this, you're more than welcome to ask. Getting code done on stream. With this project, it is a little bit more important because I don't do the development of this off stream deliberately so I can share everything. It is an open source project. However, I'm always open to discussion about it. Okay, so we have a test to do from a UI perspective now. Let's go with this. Ads are going to start shortly there, so let's go there. Takes a while, doesn't it? This is not quite as rapid as other things. Oh. Oh, second operation. Okay, that's fine. Believe it or not, that's not actually a problem. That's just because I'm trying to start both. It's starting this, and I tried to start it there. It's trying to initialize the website at the same time. In reality, that's not possible. The DB context is the problem there. Anyway, so we have these. We go into our profile. We remove rider. We hit update. We should have no rider there now. There we go. And we should have no rider there now. Yep, that's good. But we still have the label. I'm not removing the label. There's no point. Okay, so before we call that piece done, are there any opinions on A, the length of the labels associated? Do we think that we should allow spaces and extra characters? Is there anything that, like, if we do new tag, this is a really large label, and I think that it will break things. But what happens when I do it? Well, we know it broke things. So what did it break? Okay, it didn't add. It did add the label. That's a bit of a weird one. It added the label. It added the label. But what did it break? The instance of entity type tag cannot be tracked because another instance with the same key is already being tracked. That's an interesting one. Application, commands, update tags. So for that to happen, that would have to have determined that it was going to add back in there, but that's not the behavior expected. I'm not gonna worry too much about that right this second. Let's worry about limiting that text size, and we'll come back around to this error if it happens again. So sorry, I can't cope with those squished up against each other. Yeah. Any thoughts? Well, I think that did I set a limit on the actual size? So domain label, I do not set anything there. That's fine. I don't like using. Okay, so there's no limit right now set on this. The easiest place to enforce that would be the UI right this second. Migrations. But there will be no, yeah, there's no text size. Sorry. Oh no. So I am not a fan of attributes on model objects. This will be label entity type configuration. Entity type configuration. I kind of prefer the more explicit wrong label. Me and those overloaded terms. Builder dot property p goes to p dot text has max length. Should we say 50 or 100? Should we say 50? Dot. Yeah, we'll go with, let's go with 50. And then what we'll need to do is, this is the part I don't like. We'll need to do a migration. Entity framework core, add migration, include max length on label. So we're going to say it has a maximum of 50. We're going to go to the migrations folder. Now, I believe that should work. Did it create it though? No, it didn't do anything. Why would it do anything? Does EF pick up max length from entity configuration? Oh, hold on. That might be me. That might be 100% me. Yeah. Override on model creating. Model builder. Apply. Yeah. When it's doing a migration, it actually initializes the context and does check everything. So if that's not there, then there's a likelihood that didn't get picked up. So let's go with that. A migration include max length on label. See if it does it now. I don't think it did. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it does. Okay. Character varying 50. Okay. There we go. So there. Include max length on label field. We're going to have to, this is going to crash because of the field. Yeah, this migration might fail. At the very best, it truncates it. The field of 50 characters, right? At the very best, it truncates it. At the very worst, it falls in a pile and starts growing. I'm not committing a spacing thing until I have a reason to commit to spacing thing. That can go in another commit somewhere else, but yeah. But it's going to be associated. So that's fine. Let's do this. Let's go to the controls and max length equals 50. Let's at least control that there. I'm thinking I need to figure out a way of so whenever it gets near the UI, whenever it gets near this side of things, it's going to become a little bit more tricky for me because I'm going to have to learn when am I using JavaScript, when I'm using C#, what am I doing, how am I doing this, right? Because what I need to do from there is basically put something in to say, don't allow them to press space. Hyphens, yep. Spaces, no. Unless right now we just go with, you get 50 characters, that's it. So if you put spaces in, then just wasting the characters. So yeah. If you have any opinions, questions on this? Yeah. I thought Blazor was all C#. No, no. And again, it depends, right? It depends on which part you're in. So if I'm in the server side, yeah. Mr. Anhorn, good morning. Hope you are well. Reload the page. There we go. So go here. Okay. Profile. Okay, so what did it do to this label? Did it truncate it? Was that really? It didn't apply the migration. Yeah, we'll worry about that afterwards. Mojo, good morning. And Stony, hello. How's things? Okay, so what we've done this morning is we've applied the tags to the streamer. You can now go into the profile and you can add the tags. It's not perfect. I've got to figure out some button presses here, but it is moving along, right? So we can remove AMA and we can add Angular, right? That unfortunately does change that. Oh, it is alphabetical. I did order it somehow. And we've had the test to make sure we can not duplicate labels and duplicate tags. So if I go back in and I add Angular and I add, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. There's our error again. Unhandled circuit exception. Unhandled exception in circuit. That's oh. I broke the circuit. Angular. It really doesn't like that, does it? Which part am I breaking here though? Web, console. The instance of entity type tag cannot be tracked because another instance for the same key value for ID is already being tracked. So this is a classic example of why just because a unit test passes doesn't mean the code works. So again, when there's no tags associated, we associate new tags. When no tags associated but the label exists, we don't duplicate the label, we associate the tag. When tag is no longer associated, we remove it. And when tags are associated, we add the tags. Right. So there's, you know, we don't duplicate the tag, we add the new ones. And yeah, when a tag is no longer associated, we remove it. So this is working fine from a unit testing perspective. However, that code is not all well because it's the streamer.tags. it's this part, right? So, no, as no tracking. Remove tags for... No, I pull this out without tracking. Oh, unless the remove is actually the failure there. Is today a day I riot? Tags by ID spec. Yeah, so that's tags. I find that this moving into these specs definitely gives me more inclination to use the dot syntax, the expression syntax rather than the link syntax. So I'm not sure. Tags to remove. So this is what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and get the ones that are tracked, right? So the idea here is that I'm going to get the ones that are actually tracked and then delete them, because I think the problem is that the IDs, I'm not tracking those IDs. I just want to test this. It shouldn't actually matter. Well, the unit test will break because the unit test is now going to misfire. I'm going to have to make that a change, but I really want to figure this out. Okay, so tags by ID spec. Seal specification. I do hope you do not riot, Mojo. For your own sake. Like, it's not good. INenumerable of int tag IDs query dot where t goes to, yeah, that's fine. Await, that's fine. Let's see if that removes now. The weird thing there is, hold on, no, it won't be that one, it'll be this one. It has to be the I've just done that and I don't think that's anything to do with it, because it's not trying to remove anything. So in this instance, I was trying to duplicate, and all it needs to do is validate that the tag should be added or removed, and it was neither, because I'm trying to add a tag. It shouldn't have got to the... I think I am not taking enough time. Is that class getting a bit long? Not particularly. It's doing its job. So I think that's going to error again. Or not. It was the remove. Kafka. Just ignores me. That's awesome. Hold on. Thing. But thing works. Update. That's impressive. I'll cover that in a second. So thing got there, and thing is associated. Thing is not associated. Now I'm breaking it somehow. Now thing is not there, but thing got added. This is something to do with the way I'm passing that around. So we avoided one error, but we didn't get both. Interesting. So is it getting too long? Not particularly, because it is doing one thing, right? It's responsible for updating the tags, and updating the tags does involve some pieces. Now, if this was all in one method like it was originally, was that getting too long? Yes, it was getting really complicated. So I broke it down into methods that do the pieces. So fetch the labels that we need to associate. If we don't have a label, then we're going to remove tags for unused labels, and then we're going to add new tags, right? So the structuring of the code, you know, you've got to put it somewhere. Stretching it out over different classes will come with different problems. So um um now there is an argument to be had in that I'm touching a lot of different database pieces. All right. So it's not focused on one specific repository, it's doing multiple things. Right. So you could create a potential, you know, it could be broken up potentially, I suppose, into figuring out the labels and then going figuring out that, but makes me feel a little bit better about some of our ones. But there's no value to be had in trying to stretch this out for the sake of stretching it out. It has a responsibility, update tags. That is what this command handler is doing. And updating tags includes these three things. If my code gets too long and I still want it in the same class, I break it into separate files and use partial. That's another organization. Yeah, that's definitely. No, the reality is sometimes you need a lot of code to do a thing, and abstraction and extraction of code into many different pieces doesn't aid in the maintainability of it. It just makes it harder to move through. Miles, good morning. Hope you are well. Morning. So good. So let's move. So what I'm experiencing here is the difference between entity framework working with it and the unit test, right? So obviously the unit tests are broken. I've just broken the unit test without a doubt, right? Because what I've just done is introduced a new spec. This tags by ID spec, right? But I don't think that's useful. So we're going to just remove that for a second. I think it helped in one respect. Hold on. Let's do what I was about to do. No, it's L ID. The variable is not the action that I'm trying to do, right? It's not a list of tags, it's a list of label IDs, and I should associate them, and I do that by adding the tag. But now this is only selecting I'm not tracking the label, so I'm wondering if that's got anything to do with it. I want to make sure, because ultimately that was the fix to stop the other error. That's what I see. But this is 100%. This is the difference between the code being unit tested and entity framework in reality, how it tracks and deals with objects. It's another reason why. And integration testing would be my better path here. Fortunately, right now I'm playing the role of integration tester. So we tried to add thing was not added. Come on, just load. This is driving me crazy, like how long this actually takes to start up an app. I assume there's something I can do about that. Okay, so we'll go to thing. Does thing associate with... Oh, now wiped everything out. That's awesome. It's awesome. What did I do? Dear. .NET AMA update. That's interesting. .NET. I have regressed. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll this back. We're gonna go back to the original problem and assume that my guessing was the problem. Okay. Let's make sure our unit test pass. Let's look at this a bit more in depth. So the initial problem was it talked about me trying to add the tag. So now this one doesn't need tracking. The one downside to that is, can I do? Oh, I can. I can do it that way, but or I will have the option to do that. Maybe that's available to me, but putting the no tracking in there kind of breaks the not necessarily reusability, but if I wanted to delete labels for tags, then I could use tracking and then just delete them, right? I think part of the problem here is this is a non-tracking, so this is breaking. That's what my assumption there was. That being said, all the unit tests say that what I was trying to test was going to work. Look, we'll go with the dog. See you. Have a good rest of the stream and see you later, maybe. Canny, enjoy the walk with the dog. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate you. If you have not visited Canny's stream before, I highly recommend it. Canny is a Godot developer who has written a library called Twitcher, and he released version 2 of that yesterday. Twitcher is an awesome library that integrates with Godot and allows you to integrate Twitch with Godot so you can build overlays and interactions with Godot tools, which is fantastic. So highly recommend checking that out. So let's go to let's run it. Let's get back to where we were. Let's get back to where we were. If you are new to the stream is this stream particularly is about developers.stream, which is a site, a product for not product. This is not a product. This is a platform for helping support developers who stream. If you have questions, thoughts, opinions, you're more than welcome to ask. I'm always open to discuss this stuff. Right now, what I'm trying to do is tighten up this tag association with the streamer. Honestly, didn't expect this to take as long. I was hoping that I'd get to the UI today, like clean up the UI bit. Yeah. Okay. So .NET and Thing are there. Let's remove them. Save that. Let's make sure we're on even ground. Okay, so we can happily remove tags. Obviously, we don't remove those labels. Oh, we've got a case sensitivity problem. That's going to be interesting. Let's put a pin in that one. No. Twitch supports upper and lower case, so but no spaces. Okay, let's do this. So now let's do C#. Okay, so we shouldn't have a duplicate label, but we should have a tag. .NET. We should have a tag. Oh, we got an error. The instance of entity type tag cannot be tracked because another instance with the same key value for ID has already been tracked when attaching. So where did we do this? Where did you go wonky? Repository page, delete async, remove tags for unused labels. Where were you getting to there? So first I need to understand where I'm going off the rails here. And then we'll write a unit test to prove it, if we can. I think it's an entity framework difference, but we shouldn't get in here. Fuel Snabble, hello. How are you doing? Hope you are well. So let's try that again. Let's refresh. Let's go back to developers.stream. Let's go up to here. So we added .NET. Okay. So we have two labels. Label 1 is C#, label 2 is .NET, right? Our existing tags for the streamer, we have label ID 1. Right, so we have label ID 1. We've added tag 3, or we've fetched tag 3. Our existing tags. Oh. Tags to remove. We say we should remove tag 1. So I think my change to make this disconnect, so actually go and fetch these tags, was the right change for this particular scenario, because we're not tracking these. So when we loop through these, so aside from the fact there's a bug, so that would fix the problem. However, tags. So our existing tags, label ID 1. You see the bug? Maybe. Welcome back. I hope it went well. Does anybody see the bug? Oh, we didn't vibe. Well, sometimes that happens. I wish I could say I've, sorry, never been through that. Fortunately, I had an interview when I was in Maidenhead. I had an interview with Panasonic in their security devices department, like doing software for like cameras and stuff like that. And it seemed like a really exciting job, a chance to do something cool. I'd been working with some mobile technologies and whatnot. And I went there and it just, Nah. Yeah. We have problem. Let's wrap AI and everything. Their answer is AI. Oh, yeah, not going to be answering for everything. RJ, hello. And Brussels, welcome in. Hope you are all well. So the bug here, by the way, let's label these a little bit more clearly. Right. There's the bug. That should be label ID. Let's go validate that why that passed. When tags are no longer associated, it passed for a reason. So the tags it returns, label ID is it? So it should call on label ID, which it does do. But why does it match on tag ID? That test data looks correct. Let's change that code. So from the tags where the tag label ID doesn't exist in labels is the intent, right? So yeah. So where we're not using this tag anymore, right? We're not using this label. Assert a failed case. Okay, there we go. That breaks. Expected, so received no matching calls. So that's fine. That logic, though, is correct. So I want where the label for this tag doesn't exist in our set of labels. Assert what it should not do. Brain is not latching onto what you're trying to say that. So I'm trying to validate that I removed the right data for the right reason. I'm expecting a positive action. I'm not asserting what it shouldn't do. I'm asserting that it should delete something. However, when I match it on the existing, so either there's the label ID, there's the tag label ID, the tag ID, they do not overlap. So let's put a breakpoint on there. So that's a bug. We're trying to remove things we shouldn't be removing. But that's not causing the entity framework problem. So let's go there. Dukesoft, hello. How you doing, by the way? I think the morning is a net net win. Okay, so we have tags, right? There's our tag. Label ID 6501. Our labels 6501. I think my test data is bad. So 1 + 1 not equal to 3. Again, are you assuming that I'm testing the wrong thing? Well, I am testing the wrong thing. So what I'm trying to validate is when I pass in an empty array, that the labels that it returns are no longer associated with the. I don't need that tag anymore. So I'm validating that I am removing that tag. So we don't need that to it. That won't matter a little bit at all. brain. Something wrong with my data setup is what I'm confident of. I'm just trying to figure out what the data setup is. And this is another challenge why you don't necessarily copy and paste things. So what am I expecting to happen? I'm expecting to pass in, I don't want any tags, right? So the way this should work, let's go through this. I fetch the labels to associate. So I pass in the command and I say, okay, go and get the existing labels and the labels to add any of the tags we passed in where we don't have the existing label for it. I don't have to word it, but I'd write a test that checks for the inverse of the right thing. Well, there are tests covering the association and etc. This is the only one that's failing right this second, based upon me correcting the parameter. It was passing before, so it's passing incorrectly because it wasn't checking the right fields. But there's no test I can write here to validate the inverse. Because there's no test I can add because I'm technically doing that by the other things, because this is a piece of code that says, okay, well, if this doesn't exist in a list, remove it from this association. So I'm passing in nothing. So tags in this case is empty. So I get all the existing labels, which means that this should come back empty. There's the problem. That's coming back empty and it shouldn't be. There we go. Data setup. That was a pure data set, but there was a bug. There was a bug in this code and it wasn't comparing, again, it wasn't comparing apples to apples. So let's run that again. See how it goes. If you are interested in what I'm doing here, if you want to talk about anything offline, ask any further questions or dig into this code, I'm not considering it fully available yet. It is there. It is available to you if you want to check it out. But I'm not going to start taking PRs and stuff against it. But if you do have questions, you're more than welcome to join the Discord, and I'm happy to chat about it. I have a question. Feel free. I refuse to elaborate. I have to guess the question. Well, this is fun. Okay, so let's see if we can add some more tags in again now. .NET. Did it add? Oh, we have a tag. Angular. We have a tag. Software development. We have a tag. Okay. We go back here. I would hope that we don't need to add a tag on a thing called developers.stream about you being into software development, but hey. So now when we remove software development and update, do we get an exception? Searchable by language, spoken. So the intention is, yeah, you'll be able to search. So I suppose I haven't really shown this, have I? So again, the goal is to help promote developers who stream, right? So if you're a gamer or game streamer or whatever, signing up to the site is still possible because I'm not going to prevent it, but it's just not going to be what people are after, right? So the intention is to help with discoverability. Basically, it's easy to find people on Twitch, or easier. Promoting those people who are streaming to the 1 and 2 people right at the end isn't very easy, and especially if you're beginning streaming, it's a little hard to get discovered. So the goal here is to create a site where I will, help promote people who are online eventually, but also increase that discoverability and also create an API set that people can interact with in their stream. So let me go and do this. So let's go at this from the beginning for a second. I think so. I'm a streamer. I'm a developer who streams. I want to sign up. Debate. I have an internal debate going on with myself whether we need this part. You can sign in with Twitch, right? Which is what I'm signed in with over here. So you can sign in with Twitch or YouTube or whatever will offer services to login as. You sign in, and then what you do is you go and link your Twitch and YouTube accounts. So now on the front page, it knows that you have linked Twitch and YouTube, and internally, all that's doing is storing the channel names. That validation is required to make sure that you actually do stream. You have access to those streams, right? So we're not linking. You can't just go in and say, "Oh yeah, I stream as maybe," right? Going forward, what we'll do is again search. So whatever tags you put, C#, .NET, yeah, allow you to filter this list down. Help promote people who want to stream on just YouTube. Later on we can add Kick, we can add LinkedIn, we can add all those things if we can figure out the APIs and stuff for that back and forth. Be able to search. And also then once we've got this all working, I'm going to create some APIs where if someone comes in your stream and you have a bot, you'll be able to query developers.stream and get that list of tags and potentially filter it. And if they stream the same sort of stuff as you, like if I want to just shout out C# developers and promote other C# developers, I can do that. Then basically I can do shout outs and I can interact with that, and I can see people coming into my stream if they stream as well and help promote developers who stream. Even if they stream on YouTube or something, they could still, if they've linked the Twitch account and they don't stream on Twitch, you might find them still. And yeah, and vice versa. If they stream on YouTube and you have a bot on YouTube, you could do the same thing. So intent is to create a tool that people can use to help promote other developers who stream, and we can increase the discoverability. I think Kick is just Twitch's backend. Yeah. Kick is not a platform I'm going to worry about too quickly. If I'm being honest. So yeah, I stream this Mondays and Fridays. Next Monday will not be a developers.stream though. It will be a Liquid Sky stream to make sure that 200 Liquid Sky streams happens on Tuesday. But yeah, so we are making progress. Still got that issue. Monday, bank holiday. Nice. I'm in the US. So by the way, I know my accent does not necessarily tell people that, but I am in the US. I am not from the US originally. Yeah. I'm originally from Oldham near Manchester. Let's do this. So correct issue where tags were being unnecessarily removed. Match. Maybe commit and push that. Thought there was a bit of a northern twang. Yeah, this is what a northern accent sounds like after living in the US for 17 years. So yeah. Okay. So there's not much else I can do there. So I think the issue, as I said before, is that I'm trying to delete something that I'm not tracking. So I think that's causing that. I think putting that additional query in is probably the better thing. You know what? Let's do it. Tags by ID spec. Actually, yeah, I sound so to Americans, I sound British. To British people, I sound American, ever more American. But yeah, I'm not going to do that way because there's actually a cleaner way of doing this. What I can do is I can get these tags to remove these IDs, and then I can, instead of doing this for each, I can actually use the fact that I'm using the repository and do something like this, where I can say um, new tags by ID spec, tags to remove. Right, I can actually do that, and then I can get rid of the for each entirely, which is one of the nice areas of specs because it keeps the code clean. Yeah, you remind me of an actor from Stargate, totally British. Yeah, Hilk. That'd be quite an honor. Christopher Judge is awesome. um, Also, the voice of Kratos in the newer games. Okay. However, it's 9:10. I have work day to do. Unfortunately, Twitch is not making me a rich person. So, um, yeah, I will be back on this next Friday. Again, if you have questions, thoughts, opinions, you're more than welcome to join the Discord. Ask further questions. The code is there to check out if you want to give it a go. There's a lot to it right this second. It probably does need to be a little cleaner. But that will be me for now. So we are going to raid Frank. It is a Friday. Frank is doing his he's doing project maintenance and Azure templates for C#. Frank is a cloud. Frank Bacheros is a cloud architect for Microsoft. Works with Azure a lot and is a super friendly guy. So, and don't forget, it is Friday. If you have not been there before, shout out one lion. It is Community Day on One Lion Stream. He's another .NET streamer. Awesome community. And Fridays are community days. He opens up a Discord. We talk about all sorts of random stuff in there. Very worth checking out. So if you like this sort of content, another great stream. No worries. I get that you are working during my stream. I totally appreciate everything. So anyway, let's go raid Frank. Yeah, we'll pick up Liquid Sky on Monday to align with my 45th birthday on Tuesday. So we hit 200 Liquid Sky streams on Tuesday. So we're just fudging the numbers a little bit, but David Hewlett. Ah, okay. Nice. Cool. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend if I don't see you around Twitch. I'll see you again soon. Take care all. Bye.